Hi, welcome back. So today we are going to discuss Mongoose schema design. So as I discussed already, like right, so we have Mongoose library to connect to database, and we have done that connection right in the previous classes. So we have connected to our MongoDB. We installed MongoDB. Now everything got over. Installing MongoDB got over. Yesterday classes we have studied like how to run the commands and how to do query directly through MongoDB cell prompt, right? So that also we have checked, and we have checked with all the operations like CRUD operations, we have checked with read operation, we have checked with create, update, and all those operations, right? So all those things also we have gone through. So now again time it came for us to check with schema design. So as I told, like MongoDB is schema less, right? Without schema we can create any data to the database, we can store, but we have to go through schema based, because schema based what it happens, like it makes our database cleaner and it makes our database in one structure. Okay, so that is the reason we are going to design schema. So Mongoose is the one which help us to design the schema. So schema is nothing but it's like a prototype for the table. Like if you are going to collection, so what are the fields should be there? Like how many fields should be there? What are the name of the field should be there? What are the type of data that fields should require? Okay, so all those property definitions and designing of the property for the collections we are going to see MongoDB Mongoose schema design. Okay, so as I told you, like see, so Mongoose schema designs are like this way, right? Using new schema, we can design the schema, right? So we can write name, price, in stock, tag, created at, meta, and this type of things we have to design. So there will be supports multiple data types. So how many types of data types? It's like string are there, number are there, boolean are there, arrays are there, date are there. Okay, so objects are there. So all these will be included in our MongoDB. So using all these data types similar to JavaScript data type. So using this data type, we can design our schema and we can define like our field consists of what type of parameters, what type of constraint. Okay. So what it supports, what it takes, what type of data type it requires. So see, we have string, so which is for text data, right? We have number for numeric data. We have boolean for true and false value data. We have date for JavaScript date object. We have array. So array is denoted by this. You can see here side, there is an array symbol. So tags are nothing but array of string. So array of strings are nothing but combining with tags and writing their string. Okay, so that is the array. Object id is nothing but, see, whenever we create any whenever we store any data to the like collection, any document, so MongoDB directly automatically it will create a object id, right? So later that object ID only we can reference. Like let's suppose if I want to go from one table to another table, I want to reference. Like see, I'll just show you I'll tell you an example. Like see, you have user table, right? User collection. So there username, user ID, user age, okay, and user what is that? Qualification. So all those things are there in the user table. Next table, user attendance are there. So in attendance record, what happens? Like there are thousands of attendance, but how to find out like this user attendance belongs to this? So in attendance, while creating attendance, what we'll do, we'll write attendance date and user ID. So that user ID belongs to the user table. Okay, so that is the reference we have to do. So I'll teach you in proper manner later. Okay, once I'll try to provide the reference of the user and this one, then I'll teach you properly. So just to understand, like object ID is nothing but it's a reference. Okay, reference of other document. Okay, and mixed is like any mixed you can do, like you can combine the array with string or string with array or object, anything you can combine. So these are all the data types. Understood, Amar? Any doubt here? Okay, so you can see side name as type string. Okay, price as type number. In stock has type boolean. So name only takes string data. Price only takes number data. If you want to, if you will send string data as a price, it will return an error to you. Okay, so all these things data types are there. Okay, so similar way. So now string. So string, like see how we studied in array string, array strings and all in JavaScript, like a string, some of the methods, some of the properties. So same way, string has some of the property. Like if you are using string, like here see, you are using string, right? But it is on the other having property like required true, or if you are using number, like see you can see like minimum, min is 0, means minimum number should be 0. So other types are also there, other properties are also there with it. So what are the properties? So properties are lowercase. So in string you can just write lowercase. So just you have to write lowercase true, something like that. Okay. So same way you can write uppercase true, trim, true, match. We can match with some regular expression. You can provide like that string should match with this regular expression. You can create a enum. Already we discussed, right? Enum. So enum is nothing but it's some set of data. Based on that data only you have to provide the value. Okay, you can check the minimum length you can provide, like minimum length, what should be the minimum length of the string character. Like it should not take one character for a string, it should take 10 character minimum. So something like that we can define, right? Min length, max length. Populate is nothing but it's a population of the other data. Okay, so those are all things we are checking in the slides. So as for the string, so these are all the properties we can define with the string. So with the number, we can define min, like already we saw here, right? So with number, we are defined min as 0. So similar way with number, we can define min, we can define max, we can define again enum, we can define populate. So populate is nothing but it's like an object. We can define object. Okay. So same way date. So if you are going for date, we can define min and max as well for date. Okay. So these all things. So these are the some of the examples of different types, data types, and different options. Okay. So different options. So let's see the first options. So see first example. So username. So username is as a type string. Okay. Now next with this type string, there is a required true. Okay, so let's suppose you want to make the username as required true. Means if in from postman or from the client, if they want to pass this username, then it won't get created in the database. So that is required field. You must have to provide username values. You can't provide empty, you can't provide undefined. Okay, so that's the reason true. And you can write some validation as well. If it is not true, if they are not sending the username, then you can this message will return username is required. Okay, now it should be unique. So unique is nothing but it's like a you cannot create two table or two records with same username like Sandeep ABC, Sandeep ABC. We cannot create two. Duplicate should not be there. That's why we are writing unique true. Okay, it should be minimum length as 3. So minimum length of the string as 3. So you should not write AB. Username should not be AB. It should be at least ABC or some words like having more than 3 characters. So that is the thing. And maximum length is 20. So more than 20 also it should not be. It should not be some sentence like that. Username should not be there. Okay, so maximum length of the string should be 20. So this defines the username. Understood about username? So these many things you are providing options. No, whenever client are passing the username, they have to take care of all this. If they miss any of the condition, then it will return error to them. Got it, Amar? Okay. So same way we are going for next password. So password already type as string. Okay. Required true and min length 8. So minimum it should be 8 character and password must we have to send password. Without password we cannot store the data to the database. Okay. Created at. So created at is a date. So type as date and default will pass. So default means if let's suppose user has missed to pass some data, like the user has missed to pass created at. So if user has missed to pass created at, just take the current data. So it's like a date dot now. So if you pass date dot now, it will take the current data by default. So once I'll design one schema and store one data to the database, no, that time you'll understand what is I'm talking about. So now just you have to understand like, okay, these are the schema for created at date means this type of we can write. Default means we have to provide like this. Okay, here also you can provide where required and wherever required is there, there should not be default. Because see, if the fields are required, the default is not required, right? Because default means what? Default means if someone missed it, then you have to provide some dummy data to that, okay, or some data to that. But already password has required. So required means default should not be available because required means they have to provide. If they won't provide, error should return. Okay, so this is the default. Now email see type string required true and matches. So as we do know, no, like email validation will be there. So user cannot send like email as a abc123. He has to send something at the rate something.com or something dot something, right? Some email formatting should be there. So that should match. So that is the reason we have written the regular expression match. So whatever data user is passing as an email, that should match to this regular expression. It should pass basically. If it won't pass this format, then it will return error to the user. Understood? So same way you can see here role. So role are like role should be like either admin, normal user, or teacher, or principal, or student. So something like that. Multiple roles will be there, right? So you can define the role here. So user has to pass that role from that enum only. If user will pass other than this, if any other data user will pass, or if user will pass capital admin, so it won't accept. It's like a sum of set of data, from there only it has to take. Okay, and let's suppose user missed to pass, then by default it will go as a user, as a role. Okay, as a role it will go as a user. If I want pass role from the front end, okay, from the postman or from the browser or from our application, front end web application, then by default the role will go as users. So these all examples we are going to see in the further classes. Okay, but as just you have to understand, if I'll tell you, okay Amar, create a product and price should be number, then you should be able to understand, okay, price I'll write here, see, as you can see, so price I'll write as number and it should be minimum 18, maximum 100. So these are the type of things you have to design the schema. So if I'll tell about a schema, let's suppose I'll tell you, okay, product name, Amar, you created a schema design for product name. So you have to design like this, product name. So name should be type as a string, required should be true. And then you can write, okay, product name should be unique. So you can write unique true, and it should be minimum 3 length. So it should be this, it should be that. So all those definitions you have to provide for the product name. Understood? So that users should not do mistake basically. Okay, and these all will validate when before storing to the database. So once storing to the database, it will go through this schema. Okay, so it will pass all the fields data whatever you have provided. If that is passed fill all the category, all the criteria provided here, then it will go and store. If any of the criteria will get fail, then it will return error immediately and it won't store in the database. Like example, like see, let's suppose people have done username as something as username they have provided as 1 2 something, so it's a 2 character, but even though they have provided 1 2, then it's a required is there, unique also there, but still you will get error as minimum length 3, so I have to provide 3. So something like that means every condition should pass, okay, for each of the fields. Understood? So this author, so see, author has type schema dot type dot object. I told you, right, object ID should be there where refer to user table. So this I'll discuss very properly later. Okay, once we'll try to populate one table from other table, no, then time I'll explain regarding this. Okay, so see, this is a different table and this is object ID we are trying to pass. Okay, so this is object ID of other table, user table. Okay, so this I'll discuss in the previous later classes. Okay, now let's suppose we have reviews. So reviews will have multiple like reviews. See, one product will have 1,000 reviews. So 1,000 reviews has to store in one array, right? So that is the reason array we have defined. And in array we are telling like there should be 3 fields in one object. So reviewer name. So who has reviewed? Like let's suppose in product one, Amar has reviewed. So reviewer name should be Amar or ID of the Amar. Okay, now let's suppose Amar has given rating for that, right? So while review will give rating also, will give comment also, right? So rating we can define like, okay, minimum it should be 1, maximum it should be fine. So Amar has to provide review rating as 5. He cannot provide 10, 20, 30. That is not a valid one. Okay, and comment he can provide like a string. So he can provide comment as this is the good product I liked. All those things he can provide. But this is Amar, so it's a object, one object. Another again one person will come for the same product, they can provide all the details. So it's like an array. So array will be defined same, it will be like object type only if you will provide the array symbol, then it will become multiple roles or multiple reviews. Okay, so understood how to create an array object, how to pass a number, string, date, all those things. Understood? Okay, so these are things you have to define. Okay, so now let's go. Now let's start our CRUD operation. So we are going to write one small project, that is product. So we are going to create product, we are going to update product, we are going to delete product, and we are going to get the specific product. Okay, so create, read, update, delete. So all those operations we are going to do in for the product. Okay, so for that, see, so we are going to create a new product, we are going to read all the product or single product. Okay, or single product, and we are going to update the existing product. So whatever already product we have defined, so that we are going to update, and we are going to delete the product. So structure should be like this. It's a small project. Okay, so it should be like this. See, first already we know package.json should be there, right? Package.json should be there. Now next will be app.js or index.js as a main file, right? That is the main file, so we have to define like that. And then so model is nothing but we have to create one folder called models, and we have to provide product.js. So this is nothing but it's a schema. So we have to define, okay, product will have what and all fields. So it will be having the name, it will be having the price, description, category. So all those will be defined here, like as we discussed in this, right? So like this type of things you have to define. Okay. Next, we are going to provide a controller. So we have provided controller. Why controller means we are going to see whenever any, like let's suppose slash create product came, like URL. So based on that URL, what is the handler? Like we'll write no request response, and then we'll take the data and we'll try to do some logic. We are trying to store the data to the database, and then we'll response back to thing. So all the business logic operations and all, we are creating separate file, and we are writing product controller as a name. Okay. It's like a controller. It's a main file, like main logic, like where we can write the database query, where we can take the request, where we can modify the request, where we can create a response and send back to the response to the client. So this type of things, all the logics and all are written in the controller. So these are the project we are going to define. So project name is CRUD product. Okay, so we are going to create this. Okay, so first let's create this. Okay, Amar, it's fine. Understood this much what we are going to do. What is our main project? You understood? We are going to store a product. Okay, got it? Okay. So let's jump directly to the schema. So let's discuss regarding schema. So in schema, we are defining one product. So the product have name, that is required field, price, that is required field, category, we'll leave it as it is. Okay, we'll define as a enum. Okay, later, and description is a one place, and created it. So these only 5 things we are going to define for the product. Okay, understood? The schema like this, you will get the requirement, and like this you have to design. Got it, Amar? It's fine. Okay, so let's design now. So let's get the CRUD product, right? So I'll just close this, and I'll go for document, and I'll just create new folder called CRUD product. Okay, and that CRUD product I'll just open in VS Code. Okay, so I opened in VS Code. Fine. So this is empty folder. So first thing what we have to do, we have to just go for terminal. Okay, let's go for here terminal. Okay, so you have to go for terminal, and first you have to do npm init -y means we are understanding. Okay, it's everything I agreed, something like that. So directly it will come. It won't ask like what is the author, what is the keyword, what is the license. So everything. I'm just telling yes, do by default. So we have created package.json. So we can see name as CRUD. So main file is saying as index.js. So let's create index.js, and we have nothing. We have right. We have just empty everything. So just we'll create index.js. Fine. This much you understand, Amar? Any doubt here? Normally we'll do like any project. Okay. So now let's start with Mongoose, right? So we have to install Mongoose. We have to install Express. Okay. So we'll do just npm I Express space Mongoose, right? To dependency of the project we are going to install, so that we can create a server and we can connect to the database. Okay. So that is done. Okay. Now let's create a server. So we'll just create a server using Express equal to require Express. Okay. And then we are just writing app, right? Express. Okay. After doing this much, what we have to do for body parser, like request.body, we have to bind that JSON, right? So app.use we are writing, and we are just writing express.json, right? So with this, what we can do, we can parse the request body data in server, right? Already we discussed regarding this. We have studied already, right? Okay, so this much we have done, right? This much we have done. Now we are just starting the server. So I'll just tell listen, okay, and I'll provide the port. So I'll just provide the 3000, and I'll just write one callback function, and I'll just write the log. So I'll just write log as server started at port 3000. Okay, a server listening at the port 3000, something like that. Listening will be good because it will keep on listening. It's like a infinite. Okay, so server listening as the port 3000. So this much we have done. Now we'll clear it. Okay, cleared. Now let's start the server. Okay, so let's start node space index.js file. So we are trying to execute this. So we can see server listening to the port 3000. This much is understood, Amar? Any doubt here? Amar, any doubt? Okay, okay. So that's what we have done. See, so we have done with. So I'm not showing directly code to you because first I have do, then I'll show the code to you. Okay, understood what I'm telling? Okay, okay. So see, Express we have done, Mongoose we have done, this Express we have done, this we have done, right? This we have done. Now what you have done? Down. This app.listen also we have done, right? Completed. Now what we are going to do? Now we are going to do database connection. Okay, so database connection. So let's write database connection. Okay, so database what we can give name as we can give CRUD product DB. Okay, this is the database name we'll give. Now only I'm just deciding. Okay, and then we can give collection name as products as collection name. Okay, so these two things we have to take in account. Okay, after data when talking to the data. So let's first connect the database. Okay, so for that we are just writing const mongoose require mongoose, right? So we have written imported this. Either you can import here or you can import on the top, because all the import, if you write proper structure, no, it will be good. But anyway, it's fine. You can write here later. You can arrange, because now you're not learning about how to arrange the code. Okay. Okay. So after this, what we have to write? Mongoose dot connect. Okay. So first is the URL, right? So we have to write mongodb / localhost colon 2017 something, it's there, right? So we can just check it. Localhost mongodb / localhost colon 27017, right? So we can just write 27017. Okay, and then we have to write database name. So database name, what we are going to do? So we are going to write CRUD product DB. Okay, so let's write. Okay, CRUD product DB, and then we'll write dot then. I'll teach about dot then because I have not taught you till now dot then, right? These are the promises which we missed it here in the this one. What is that? Uh, Sorry. So I'll just write. I left it before after calling after teaching you the callback, right? So after callback, I didn't taught you promise that time, but now the time came, like I have to teach you promise and all. Okay, so I'll just teach you somewhat later in the further classes. Okay, so console.log, we are just writing uh, connected database CRUD hyphen product hyphen DB successfully. Okay, successfully. So this will be coming when we are connecting to the server now. So let's try to do this. So once I do, see, server is listening at 3000, connected database also, right? So we have connected database also. Understood, Amar? Any doubt here? So we have done with the connection to the database and we have started our server as well. So both have successful. That's what I'll tell you. This is the promises basically. Okay. So I'll teach you because I have not taught you the promise concept. Remember, I have left promise concept in the course. So right, once I'll teach you, just now understood, like, yeah, this is the statement we have to write to connect. Okay. So this is the thing which has happened. So understood how, what are the things are there gone. So now we are ready with the server. So we started server, we are connected to a database. So all those part has been done. Now let's create a schema, right? Product schema. So we are going for the product, right? So let's create the schema. So for that, what I told, we have to go for models, right? Folder. So we are going to create a folder. By if you are going to create a folder, don't click on node module and create a folder, because wherever you will click no to beside of that the folder will be created. So always click on index.js or package.json. Okay, so that folder will be created beside this. Okay, in the same directory path. So just do like this. Models. Okay, so created folder. Now inside the model we have to just click model and then we have to create the file. So we just write product schema.json, something schema I have written, or you can write only product, no issue for that. Okay, so I've written like that so that I can it can be easy for me to address, like, okay, this is the schema file. because in upcoming classes you'll have lots of files and all, so you'll be very difficult to like find out like which file is open for what purpose. Okay, so that's why I'm writing name as a product schema. You can write name only product, no issue for that. Okay, understood? So we are going to create a product schema. So product schema, what we are going to do? So already we have discussed regarding product schema. Remembered? I'll just show you again. See, this is the product schema we have created previously, right? We have created product schema using the schema from Mongoose and then deciding and then writing the model, and this is the collection name and this is the schema. So this schema defines to this collection name, right? So all those things we have already done, and this is the use. We can use it as it is like this way, and using dot save we can save the data to the database by passing the actual data. So all these things already we have discussed in the previous classes. Okay, so let's go back to, okay, so let's define it. Okay, so let's do same thing, const mongoose require mongoose. Okay, and then what we are doing, we are just doing const, so just write product schema in Pascal form only. Okay, Pascal means first also capital, after one word also capital. Okay, like this if you do, because it will be like, it's like a prototype kind of thing. There is a reason I'm just writing like that. New mongoose dot schema. Okay, so this is the one. Okay, so here we have to define. So as I discussed, we have to do name, price, category, description, created at. Okay, so let's do that. So I'll just write name, right? And similar way I'll just do comma, I'll just write price, and same way I'll just write description, and same way I'll write category. Okay, and then created at. Understood? This much you understood, Amar? Okay, so what we are defining, name as type string, right? So let's define for each of the things. So we are defining type as string, and then we are defining after type required. So let's make name as required field. So if a user does not pass name, then data should not store. Okay, so same way the price. So we are just defining type as number, and same way we are writing required true. Okay, fine. Now description, just we are writing type as string, and then we are providing, like if people want to provide the description, we are just providing from default. Like if they want to provide a description, then it will just take the default. Take the, this is the description of product, something like that we can write. Okay, so that is the description, it will go as by default. Any doubt here? Sorry, default. So as I told, default, see, here you are providing the price. So let's suppose you are when you are trying to store the data to the database, let's suppose you provided the price, but you didn't provide the description. You forgot to provide the description. You provided name, you provided price, you provided category, you provided creator, but you didn't provide description. But it has to go description has to be there. So if you want to provide description, that time what happens, it will take this as a description, whatever it's written, no, default means what, by default you take this one. If user will provide, take their description. If they want provide, take this string as a description value. It's like a default value providing to description field. Okay, so I'll explain more once it'll get created. No, once I'll remove the description while calling the API, that time you'll understand more properly. Okay, default is nothing but it's a default value provided to this field. Okay, got it? Okay, now let's category, let's go for string. Okay, sorry, enum, sorry, oh, string, sorry, string, and then we'll go as a enum, right? Enum. So category, they have to provide as some of the enum. So they can provide fashion, sorry, they can provide men, they can provide women, they can provide festive. Okay, so something like that they can provide. Okay, and default I'm just providing as fashion. So if they won't pass anything, then default we have to provide as fashion. Okay, so this is the one for category. Okay, oh, created at it should be type as date, and if user won't provide the category, sorry, created at, then it should be date dot now. Okay, by default it will be date dot now. So we are going to use this schema, right? So it should be exported, right? So I'll just do module dot export, and just I'll write mongoose dot model. Okay, so mongoose dot model, what we are defining? We are defining the collection name. So collection name, what we have discussed? We have discussed collection name as products, right? So we are going to define products. Okay, and which schema these products follow? So this follows this schema, product schema. So I'll just write here product schema. Okay, so we are ready with the schema. Fine, we're ready with the schema. See, ready with the schema. So it might change, like here I might retain the category as type string, enum I have missed. So all those things it might change here, because this is before doing the things I have done. Now let's create our start. Let's create our create, update, delete, and read. So all those APIs, let's try to create now. This much is clear. Now let's try to create. So here we are going to write create a CRUD API for product collection. Okay, product collection. So let's create. So what we know, first we have to go for post, because we are going to store the product. So if you are going to store the product, what we'll do? App dot post, right? We are going to write app dot post. So in app dot post, what we are going to write? We are going to write, so let's make the base URL. So base URL, we are going to define, let base URL should be something like, let's make base URL as, so how we are going to create a URL means, we are going to create a URL as localhost colon 3000, and for every API we are going to define as API, that is one thing, and then we are going to define as products, because it's for products, right? So it's for products. So all the API will starts with API products, and then we are going to define whether it is having the get request or post request or put request or whatever. Okay, so we are going to define like this. So this is our base. So this much I am keeping as a base URL. Okay, this much I'm keeping. Base URL means it should be available for all the URL. Okay, this should be available for all the URL. Okay, so that is the reason I'm writing base URL like this. Okay, so let's start the base URL. Okay, so base URL we are just writing. So I'll just write like this way, and then I can just write this base URL. Now don't ask what is this curly bracket dollar and all, okay, because it's a template string. Remember, already we have discussed. So this is one, and then we are going to write, so create. So create is nothing but we are going to write slash. So what I have defined here, same way I have to write. So slash create we have defined, right? So we have write create. So basically for creating product, our URL will be slash create. This is the URL basically for create product. Okay, so slash create. So here we have to write here request and response, right? Request comma response, right? Like this. Already we know there will be path, there will be handler function, right? So here you have to write, you have to get the request dot body, sorry, body data we have to get, and I have to just write what is that, body data, and what I forgot. Okay, body data. So request dot body. So whatever we are passed in the body, it should be there, and then we'll just write console dot log, and we'll try to print the body data. So how we'll print the body data? So we'll just write body data, right? So I'll just write some message as well. The body data received for create operation. Okay, something like that I'm writing the message. So the body input. Okay, so once we do this, what we have to do? We have to create a schema, right? We have to create a schema. So how to use that schema, whatever we have defined. So already we have discussed here, right? Here in the previous classes, I have discussed. Okay, so this is the one. So first we have to import the product schema, whatever we have created. So basically whatever this product schema we have created, this we have to import in index.js. So here we have to import, and then we have to write let product equal to new product model. Okay, new product model means whatever product model, whatever reference we have created for this. So that, and open bracket, curly bracket, and then we have to provide the name. So whatever in this schema we have defined, okay, schema we have defined, for all the property we have to provide the value. Okay, so we are going to provide a value, and then we are writing same reference of this using new product. So new data is going to store, so using this product dot save we are going to save. Okay, so these are the operations for storing the data. Okay, so after this body data will come. Now what we'll do, let product equal to new product model. Okay, new product model. So product model, from where it has to come? So it has to come from here. So I'll just write let product model equal to require. Okay, now I'll just write dot slash models slash product schema. Okay, because it's inside the model slash inside the product schema. Okay, so that we have taken reference of, and now we are going to write name. So name should be, what is that? Request dot body dot name, right? So again, name, price should be request dot body dot price. Again, what is that other than price? Description. So description should be not body dot, directly body data we can write, no, instead of request dot body. Okay, so we can directly write body data. Okay, here also we can directly write body data dot description. Okay, same way we can write after description, what is there? Category. So we can write body data dot category. Okay, and created at we can write created at. So let's make created as whenever the product will create, at that time automatically it will capture, no need to pass anything. Okay, so leave it, ignore it. Created at it will take by default. Okay, so this much you are passing, and now with this we have to do product dot save. So if I write this much, it will save. But see, we are going to connect to the database, right? So when this API URL will call, then it will just go for the database connectivity. It will store the data. After storing the data, it will send you the response as an object ID and the data. So all those things takes time, right? So takes time. So if I write like this, no, it will not execute. It will be very keep on calling, or some error will come, right? So we have to tell like, okay, wait till this operations once complete, wait, we have to tell. So in that scenario we have to just write await. So wait means I'm just writing await. So why await I'm writing, I'll discuss in the promise classes. Okay, just now understood, like whenever we are writing any query, before that you have to write await. Got it, Amar, as of now? And if you are writing await in the code in the function, you have to write here the function, before function you have to write here async. Okay, so why I am writing all this regarding these two keyword, I'll discuss in the promise classes. Okay, so just now understand, wherever you are writing any query like which you did in the Mongo console yesterday, so wherever you are writing anything, that there you have to write await. Got it, Amar? So whatever result you will get from the save, you have to store in response. Okay, to store in response, and that response you have to send back to the client, right? So you have to write rest dot status. So first you have to send the status. So status, what you have to write? 201, because we are going to store data, right? So if you are going to create something in the database, that time you have to go for 201, and then dot send. So dot send, what you are writing? Response. Okay, so this whatever response you are getting from the database query, that you are sending back to the client. Okay, so this much is clear. So let's start. So let's restart. Okay, so we have restarted. Now our first API is completed. the URL is this. Now we are going to trigger and we are going to pass all the data, okay, in the body. And this is the post API, right? So we are going to do post call. So in that scenario, I'll just open Postman. Okay, I'll just okay. So let's create a collection. Okay, so click on collection and create a plus. So create a blank collection. So new collection I have created. So I'll just write CRUD product collection. Okay, or CRUD product API we can write API. Okay, so this is the name of the collection. So let's create one first request. So add a request. Just do add a request. So it will come like this design. Okay. Now in request, what we are going to write? Any name we can write. So we are going to create a product, right? So create product. You are just given one name, create product. So name of the request is create product. So it is post request. So we are going to change here post. So what is the URL we have to write? http://localhost:3000, and then we are going to write API/products, and then slash, what we are going to write? What is that? Create. Okay, we are going to write create. So this is our URL for our first API, right? Base URL, that is nothing but API/products/create. Okay, and then we have to provide in body the data, right? So let's provide the data to the body. So let's go to body, click on body, and it was by default it is none. You have to go to raw. Okay, raw, and here you have to check. Sometimes it will be text, so you have to make it to JSON. Okay, so JSON. Now you can just write object. Okay, you just write object. One second. And then you have to provide the data. Now you have to write the name. So name. Okay, we have to write the what is that? Price. Sorry, price is a string, so I'll just write this way to provide the description. So description. So we have to write sorry. And here don't miss to provide double quotes, because key and value both should be in double quotes. If it is a string value, then it's in double quotes. If it is other value, it should be like normal. But always key should be in double quotes, otherwise you'll get the error. Okay. So category as, so we are providing later, and then created it we are ignoring, right? So basically we have provided the data which it accepts, like name, price, description, and category. Okay. So let's provide name. So name we are providing as product 1. Okay, let's provide the price. So I'm just writing 3,500 as a price. Let's provide the description. So this is the description of product 1, something like that I'm writing. Okay, let's provide the category. So category from which where we have to provide the category, we have to provide from the schema, based on the schema. So category we can provide as fashion, men, women, or festive. So let's provide fashion. So fashion. Okay, so once we provide this data, so this data is nothing but it's a coming, like this type of things is nothing but it's like a UI. So you are creating some front-end application and you are taking the form. You are telling the user to fill the form. So if user will fill the form with name, price, and description, then they will click the submit button. So that is kind, because we don't have UI, so that's why we are going for Postman. So Postman is nothing but it's a UI basically. Okay, from it's a front-end client, right? So now we are going to trigger the data. Now we are going to trigger the request. So already we have done post request, and now first we'll save it. So click on save, it got saved, and see it became post create product. So now we are going to send the request. So once we send the request, we can see as we have written 201 created, it came, right? Because 201 we are sending as a response back, right? Here you can see we are sending as a 201. Right, so response would be always status as 201, and whatever response we have got from the database, that response we are directly sending to the client. So what we got all this data with ID attached. So this underscore ID you can see here, that is nothing but it's a creation, successful creation to the database. Okay, so if you want to check whether this data has stored in the database or not, then directly go to terminal, like the command which I have yesterday I have given, no, that bat file. So directly you can go and you can open that. Okay, and just you can write so DBS. So dbs, if you will tell after executing this API, right? After executing this API, do dbs, you can see there is this record should be there. So where is that? Where is that? Where is that? See, CRUD product hyphen db. So you can just use CRUD product hyphen db. Okay, I'll just do. Okay, I cannot do maximize. Okay, just I'll try to, because you are not able to see. Okay, again I'll just do control C. Okay, now I can do maximize. I think now it's visible, right? It's visible. Okay, let's go again to Mongoose. Okay, now let's go use CRUD product db. Okay, now just type so collections. Okay, so if you see so collection, already product has been created. We didn't do from here, right? We did from our API. So already product has been created. Now if you'll go and do db dot products dot, okay, find, if you will do like this, you can see the product which we got here and the ID 673C, you are saying 51F. So same thing, the ID 673C 51F. So based on this ID, whatever we provided from the postman, see, postman we provided name as this, price as this, and category as fashion. See, we created that we didn't provide, that's why it took the current time and date, right? So by default, it took the current time and date. Understood, Amar, what I am saying? See, from code now we are able to store data to the database. Got it? Got it? So this is the API which we did. Through API, we are able to store data to the database. Understood? Okay. So this is one thing. Okay, let's create one more product. Okay. So let's create one more product, product 2. So let's make it as 2500 and let's not store this time description. Okay, so I'm removing description. Okay, so if you are removing description, now let's see. Now I'm just making as main. Okay, so product 2, price and category. So let's try to send. So send. So you can see once I'm clicking the send, still you can see in the response descriptions are there, right? But we didn't provide the description. So what it does, it took the default description. So that's why I've written default. So default means if you want to provide the value for that field, by default it will take this. So we have written right in the default, this is the description of the product, like that we have written right in the default. You can go in schema and you can see this is the things we have written. Means if anyone missed to pass this description field, then just take this. Understood now why I was telling default we have to use? Got it? So we didn't provide the description. So by default, it took the description. Okay, understood now? So this is 2 product I created, second product. Now let's again do Control Z, and this time I'll remove the category. Okay, so I'll remove the category, and now I'll provide the description and product. I'll just go for 3, and this one I'll go for 4, and I'll just write here 3. So now this time I'm just removing the category. But if I'm removing the category, you can see still the category is there. But by default it's taking as a fashion, because here what we have provided category as, okay, take either it will accept fashion, main, woman or festive, or by default if someone missed the category, then default it should go as a fashion. Got it? So that is the reason you are seeing here in response it is fashion. And if you go to DB, you can just so again find, now you can see the 3 products are there, right? Product 1, product 2, product 3. So all the 3 product details are there. Category men, category fashion, right? 4500, 2500. This is the description of the product, product 3, product 1, product 1, product 2, product 3. So all the details are there, right? And created, you can see created every time we are creating new times are getting logged, right? See here the times are different, here the times are different, here the times are different. Okay, so second times, every times it will capture. Okay, understood, Amar? So now we are not going to create anything from the console, this console. Now we are going to create everything from the code basis. So this is only you have your work is, your job is. Understood, Amar? This is only your job is. The things which you wrote here, the things which you did here. So all these is your job. Okay. Now what you will do, you will send this URL to the front end people, front end guy. So what they will do, they will take this API and they will call this API from their front end application, and they will pass all this data to you. So it's like everything we are doing from front end. So I'll do some front end application also, okay, and then I'll show you how someone submit the form and how data will go to back and how it will store. So tomorrow we might see like from not from the postman, from directly from the application. Okay, understood? Directly from the application. So I'll create once a small application. I will try to do something. Okay, understood? Then that will be more understandable for you. Okay, it's fine. So now we have created our product. Got it? Everything? Amar? Now see, now the thing is here, as we know, I'll show you one more thing. See. Okay, tell me what is our project structure? Package.json, app.js, that is index.js, model having product schema.js. I have written product, it's fine. Now I have written controller and product controller. I was telling like this should be all the logic like talking to database, storing data to the database, saving to the database. All the logic should be written in product controller, not in the app.js. Right now we have written in the index.js, right? We have written in the index.js. So we should not write anything in the index.js. Index.js should be only the reference to some of the page. Okay, because it will become very big. Now see, now if I'll write all the query here, then it will go till 4 long. So what I'll do, I'll try to separate this entire code. I'll try to push to one file, that is product controller. So I'll try to copy this and paste it there. So I'll just create the reference. So let's try to create a folder first. So to create a folder, just click on the package.json and then create a folder. So I'll just create a folder, controllers. Create a file called, what is that? Product controller.js. Okay, and already we know if you are creating product how to do module import and export, already we know. So we are just writing let product controller equal to one object will write, and we are just trying to do module dot exports. Okay, and then we are doing product controller. Why I'm doing like this means whatever I'll write in this object, everything should be exported. Means everything should be, we can access some other page. That is the reason I'm writing inside the object. So in object what will pass? Key value pair will pass, right? So we have first create, right? Create. So create is the property. And then this create having the property and value should be function, right? So we are just writing the function like this way. Okay. And this function already we know. So this function I'm replacing with this function. So I'll directly copy from here to till here. Okay. Cut from here and paste it directly. So in place of this function, I'm just writing this function, right? So directly I've copied from there and pasted. So this request response is nothing but it's the same here. It will apply. Okay. Now here what we have to do, we have to reference that things. Now this product model also will go because it's not referenced here. It reference in the product controller, right? Because here the product model is there. So it will go here. So all the imports will move it here. And then now this product model is not requiring the dot slash model. It has to go some other path because we have changed the path. So we'll just write dot slash. So we can see we are going to models and we can see slash product schema. So this path has to get changed. Okay. Fine. So this much is done. Now create API we have created, right? Now here in index.js, what we'll do, we'll just write let product controller, okay, and we'll just to require and we'll write dot slash. So dot slash is controller, okay, slash product controller, okay. Now just we'll write product controller reference of this, okay, comma product controller dot, okay, dot create. That's it. That much only we'll write. Okay. So we are just, anyone will try to create, then they'll go to product create. Okay. Product create. See, it will go to here and take the same. So it's like a similar to this. Just we have separated the function from there. Okay. We have separated the function handler from there to here. So same way, I'll just restart the things. Okay, and just recall the API. So if you recall the API, again we'll try to create a product 4. So product 4, I'm just typing the 5500 and I'm just writing the 4 and just sending. Okay, let's create some category as well this time. Okay, category. So I'm just providing woman. Okay, woman I'm just providing. So let's create. Now see, it's created. Nothing I have changed. I've just placed one file from here to there. So now we have got this structure back, right? Got this structure back. So I have created create operation, right? Everything is fine. Done, create operation. So let's do one get operation and we'll close the class today. Okay. So get operation. So get operation is nothing but getting all the list. So how to get the all the list, like how to get the all the list? So we are just writing here db.product.find. So if I'm doing all this, it will give you all the product list, right, in the array format. So same thing we are going to operate on the code. So to operate on the code, what we have to do? So it's a one-time setup. Now again, another API I'll give you. Then just go to index, just copy this. Okay, just copy this. Right? Okay, get product. So get product means to be get API, right? And base URL will be same. Instead of create, just write get list, something like that, or some list. Okay, or some list, write the list, right? And then create. So already there is a create. Now I have to go to product controller and we just do update. Sorry, get. So just copy this and paste it and change create to sorry, what is that? List. Just write list. Some name you give, get list or product list or something list. You can write. Okay. Okay. And then request response is the same. Now here get list means nothing. It's not taking anything from the user, right? It's not taking anything from the front end. So no need to pass anything front end because see here we can see, are we passing anything from the front end to get the data? Nothing we are passing, right? Here just we are passing inside find, nothing we are passing, just empty. So that is the reason we no need to pass anything. So in that case, what you will do? You will just delete now all these things because we are not going to save. So just write the query, this much only. So body also not required because we are not going to take any body. Okay, so just write what? Model. So model, anything you have to call, you have to write the model. So product model dot find. Okay, that's it, that much only. So how to, if you are calling any database query, what you have to do? You have to store that response first. Okay, and you have to write await. Okay, that much only you have to do, that's it. Okay, now whatever response is there, you are sending back, and while sending the list, you have to write as always 200. 201 is always for creating, but other than 200, if any success is there, you have to provide 200 response. Okay, but 201 is only for create. If you are going to store to database, that time you have to write a status code as 201. Okay, but if you are getting any success things, you have to write 200. So this is done. Our API is done. Done this API. Over. Now just restart the project. Right? Now let's go to Postman. Now in Postman, just do one thing and just either you can write here add request or you can just make it duplicate so that you will get the URLs and all, right? So I'll just click on here, I'll just make it duplicate. So duplicate, so here what I'll just write name get the list of product. Okay, I'll just give the name. So get the list of product. It's still post, right? So it is a get request. So I'll just make it get. And what is the URL? So API/product. Instead of create, it is list, right? So see here, instead of get, it is list, right? After base URL, it is list. Previously, it was create. So it's a list, right? So we are just doing list. And in this time body, in get method, body we should not provide. So I'm just writing row to none. I'll just do none. So nothing to provide in a body. Because if you are providing also, it's a waste, right? So now if you are going to send a request. Okay, what is that? Okay, maybe we didn't got. Okay, something happened. Let's see what is happening. Validation error. Price is required. Okay, but okay, maybe something we have done. Get. Oh, sorry, we have calling create here. It should be list, right? Should be list. We are calling create again with the same list. Okay, so fine. Now let's run again. We have done some mistake. Now let's see. So we have got 200. Okay, and you have got all the product list. See all the product you have got in array, right? So this is the get data. Got it, Amar? Any doubt here? Okay, so these are the things we have studied. So tomorrow we will see get one product, update the product, some detail like either description, either price, either category, and then delete the product. Okay, we are going to write delete the product. So three things, three operations we are going to do. So today we have just seen read and create operation. Okay, so these two API we have created. Okay, so follow the tutorial today properly, follow the video. Okay, and try to do this much. Okay, thank you.